So tell me, what you want to talk about?
So I have like a tennis project that I'm doing for my school.
Yeah.
And it's how tennis can improve injuries and like increase your athleticism.
I want you to come over here. I want to show you something. So, what I wanted to show you on this board. Okay, hold on to the camera like this. Let's see if I can put it a little more clearly. There you go. Okay. So, right here, it says, did you know that tennis is both an individual and a team sport? Nobody's coming to the rescue. There are no substitutions, no timeouts. There's no clogged. It is not over until it's over. The pressure exists all the time when you're down or when you're up, meaning whether you're either winning or losing. Okay, tennis is the only racket sport that is highly technical, so you have to have technique. Technique is defined as that which allows you to hit the ball hard and get the ball in. So, now, without getting hurt. So, obviously, you can hit it hard, but if you don't know the technique, you could possibly injure yourself.
Yeah.
So when you were asking me, can tennis avoid injuries? Well, if you do the tennis correctly, yes, you're gonna avoid injuries. If you do tennis incorrectly, actually, I don't know if you know this, but back in the 1970s, tennis elbow was the #1 injury in sports. Why? Because tennis was very popular.
And they didn't do it.
And people would just grab a racket and go to the court. Just like the same way that people play pickleball, grab the rackets and go play pickleball and then never take a lesson, nothing, and they start whacking the ball. Well, with pickleball it's okay because the racket is very tiny.
Yeah.
But with tennis, if you grab the tennis racket and you start playing tennis without any instruction, tennis elbow, man.
Yep.
You're gonna have an injury. So this right here, that technique is defined as that which allows you to hit the ball hard and get the ball in, is definitely important. Now, tennis is mentally taxing, okay? You have to focus, okay? Tennis is physically demanding. You need all 5 modalities, okay? So this is what I wanted to show you right here. How many sports have all 5 modalities? Not many, okay? For example, let's say take football. Let's say you're a defense tackler in football. Do you need strength? Yeah, you better believe you need strength because otherwise it's just gonna go right through you, right? But what about speed? Not necessarily, right? I mean, you have to be fast, but not, maybe the quarterback probably has to be faster, right? But the defense tackler not necessarily needs to be fast. In tennis, you have to have stamina, meaning, what is the stamina?
It's like how fast or how long you can go without
Exactly. How long you can go, right, without
stopping. Yeah.
calling it out, right? Without throwing the towel. So, stamina, if you are a long distance runner, okay,
And you need a lot of stamina.
do you need stamina? You better believe it, right? You're not going to run a marathon without stamina.
Yeah.
Not even, forget the marathon, you can't even run a 5K without stamina. You got to have stamina. Number 2, speed. In tennis, you have to have speed because if somebody drop shots you, you have to run from the baseline to the drop shot, right?
Yep.
So you need speed, but you also need stamina. So you need the stamina of, let's say, a marathon runner, but you also need the speed of a 100-meter dash. That's very difficult because if you look at the body, have you ever seen in the Olympics? In the Olympics, the guys that run the 100 meters are usually very tall and strong and big legs. And the marathon runners, not necessarily they're not necessarily super tall. Some of them are like short guys like me,
Yeah.
you know, and they're skinny, right?
They don't have really big legs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, they have strong legs, but obviously strong legs, but not like big, thick legs, you know. So that's where speed comes in. So when you look at Carlos Alcaraz, and Carlos Alcaraz has thicker legs, right, than let's say Yannick Sinner, then you know Carlos Alcaraz has faster legs. Strength. Well, you do need strength in tennis too, because if you're at the net and somebody hits you a very fast ball, right, you need to block it. How are you going to block it if you don't have strength, right? You got to block it. And when you grip the racket, you have to grip it really tight in order for the ball not to kind of twist your racket, right? So you need strength in volleys. You need strength. I mean, you don't need a whole lot of strength, like maybe like a tackler in football, or maybe like a weightlifter guy, you know, who's lifting tremendous amount of weight. But you do need strength. Now this one is a very important one. Okay, let me see you touching your toes.
It's like,
No, but like put your foot up on the bench. Okay, so now if you can touch your toes, that means you're flexible here, right? But some people, seriously, they go like this, you know, and they can't even get to the toes. So you have to be flexible, and I'm just testing you on one leg, you know, one muscle, right? But what about all the other muscles, right? So there's a bunch of other muscles that you have to be flexible. The shoulders, for example, for the pitching motion of the serve, you have to have flexibility. And last but not least, agility, which obviously if you play basketball, you have to have a lot of agility because you have to be moving, shifting, right? Turning around like that, passing.
how can playing tennis prevent injuries and increase athleticism?
Okay, so I would say because of the 5 modalities that you have to have, you're bound to work on many different areas of your body. Not just strength, not just agility, not just stamina, not just speed, right? You have to have everything. So because of that, I would say you become a more rounded athlete, right? If you become a tennis player.
So you can play like any sport.
Oh, for sure. I mean, once you play tennis, you can play just about anything. Now, they have said, I don't know exactly, I mean, you may want to ask ChatGPT or whatever, where actually comes this statistics, but I've heard that tennis has been named the #1 sport that gives you longevity, meaning long life. So that if you play tennis all your life, you have a very good chance of living a long life. And I'm thinking, you know, now that I'm getting older, I'm thinking, you know, why is that? You know, why would tennis be so good for your health? Well, you know how, as you know, you probably notice, right, that when people get to in their 40s, right, middle age, if they're not careful, they get fat, right?
Yeah.
And once they get fat, then they start losing the stamina and the speed, and then what happens? Their heart gets messed up. So in tennis, because you have to be playing around, you definitely help your heart, and maybe because it's fun too, you know, I think.
Yeah.
Because I mean, golf, I mean, I know people play golf for a long time, but you know, it's not going to be a cardio, you know, like in tennis.
It's not going to be like speed.
Yeah. So I mean, they say walking is very good for your health, but in tennis, you know, you're exercising continuously. So yeah, I mean, I would check out to see where that statistic comes from. But I've heard it because they mentioned it in the U.S. Open last year.
I had this article that I researched on. It was talking about like the how tennis improves all this stuff. It said that tennis improves muscle mass, it improves like bone density, which like your bones get stronger.
Yep.
And then it like gives you like better emotion.
Yeah, for sure. I love tennis, man. If I had to live 10 lifetimes, I would love to play tennis 10 times, you know. I would not necessarily care about switching sports, you know. I mean, we never talked about this part right here where tennis is highly tactical. Okay, so it has been called a physical chess game.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you ever play chess, but you know, if you play chess and you don't know the tactics, man, you know, you're gonna pull out your queen, you're gonna go check, you know, and then before you know it, your queen is gone. You know. So now in Rubik's Cube we have formulas. In tennis we have patterns. So I've always actually equated tennis learning to solving a Rubik's Cube in a way, like when you think about competitive tennis.
Yeah.
Because in Rubik's Cube you need formulas, and in tennis you need patterns. Patterns are like formulas, or like you know, if you hit the ball here and then the opponent hits it here, then you go there, like that, you know. Now this is another cool thing. Tennis is not a game of perfection. You were mentioning the emotional aspect, right?
Yeah.
So as you grow older, obviously if you're a happy camper, right? If you're happy in your life, you're going to have endorphins in your brain, right? You're going to enjoy life to the fullest. And if you're a perfectionist, you're going to be frustrated, right?
Yeah.
Because every time you miss, yeah. Because in tennis, I mean, you make a lot of mistakes, but you know, it's just not a game of perfection. So if you are a perfectionist, you have to be careful, you know.
You might have a hard time.
Yeah, you might have a hard time. Like, so what I ask my students when they come, they might be in the middle school, or, you know, or even in, you know, even if they're younger, you know, sometimes I will ask the parents, do you think your child is a perfectionist? Because sometimes, you know, I do have kids, you know, that are perfectionists, and I have to tell them, listen, be careful, man, because you're gonna end up in the psychologist's office, man, you know, because you're gonna get very frustrated here. And I don't want to be teaching kids that throw the rackets, you know. Yeah. Every time they make a mistake, bah, you know, they bang the racket because they get mad because they're not perfect. No.
I've seen some tennis players.
Yeah, exactly. So for that reason, I would say you do have to change you have to have a little checkup from the neck up, you know, and make sure that your coco is okay, you know, because otherwise you might have a problem, you know. Now it's a game of percentages. It's also pretty cool because, you know, let's say you're in business, you know, or you know, I mean, a lot of, you know, in many things, you know, percentages count.
Yeah.
Right. So if you get into percentages, it's not, can you win 10 out of 10 games? No, can you win, you know, 6 or 7 out of 10, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a healthy percentage, then you're good, you know. Well, all right, man. Well, I think that's a great idea, man, to go ahead and try to, you know, encourage people to play tennis so that they can live a healthier life. You have any other questions?
Oh, yeah, I have some questions. Can I ask you?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I don't know if I know the answer, but yeah, you can ask me.
You kind of answered this, so I'm just gonna go to the next one. How do you design your tennis drills or training sessions to help prevent injuries? And can you give an example of a time this worked?
Okay, so the most important thing is that you have to warm up before you start the lesson. I don't know if you've had some private lessons with me before.
Yeah.
So what do we do first? We do a 5-minute rally, right?
Yeah.
And then after the 5-minute rally, then you stretch. So now you may say, well, why don't you stretch first and then rally afterwards. No, because the muscle is cold.
Yeah.
So you warm up the muscle, and then you stretch it, and there you go. You know, you have the best. So for that, I mean, that's the way I design my drills. You know, so.
And if you like, if it's cold, then you probably have a higher chance to get injured.
Yeah, if it's cold, I mean, you want to come in with a you know, sweatpants, you know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, with long pants or you know, absolutely, yeah.
I was gonna ask, what physical benefits do beginner, intermediate, and advanced players gain from playing tennis? That like they gain agility, stamina.
All the 5 modalities. Yeah. But the 5 modalities is true for all the levels. Mm-hmm. It's not like the beginners are gonna get the flexibility and the advanced players are not. No, you need flexibility for all of them.
Yeah.
In fact, the beginners that cannot touch your toes, or they are not flexible, I tell them right away, you know, you need to work on your flexibility, man. Do some yoga, you know, or do some,
just do some like stretches.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
All right. Let's see. What unique qualities of tennis make it effective for developing strength, coordination, and injury resilience compared to other sports?
I mean, you do have to work on strength separate from just playing tennis. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen the plyometric boxes?
I think on like Instagram.
Okay, so here I want to challenge you. Here, give me your sheets. Try to stand here and then jump into the first plyometric box.
Like just like.
Yeah, with both feet.
With both feet.
That was like a piece of cake for you. Okay, so now, right here on this board, I say that the small plyometric box is ideal for basic baseline shots. The medium one, which is this one, okay, it's better for jump serves and attack shots. Actually, jump serves is the large one, which is that one over there. Yeah. So this one
looks harder.
I mean, obviously, the higher it is, the more difficult, right? So I don't know if you can right off the bat without being, because you haven't warmed up, but.
I'm gonna try the medium one first.
Yeah, I think so, because the last thing you want right now is you trying to. But see, this is an excellent exercise for your abdomen, for your lower preliminary skip and a jump in the midcourt. So if you don't have the ability to do this, then you can't do that, right? If you can't jump the large, I mean, let's try the large one. I think you can do it. You know. Yeah.
Maybe.
There you go. There you go. Nice.
I don't know if I can do it over and over.
Well, no, I mean that for obviously you do training, right? So that's why when you ask me about strength, you do have to train. You do have to train outside the tennis court.
Yeah.
Either in a gym, under supervision from a physical expert, right? Or somebody that knows what exercises you need to do. I mean, I try to do the plyometric boxes here, and I always ask my students to do lunges. Lunges are really good for strength.
Yeah.
And
he's like improve like everything in tennis.
Oh yeah, I mean the plyo boxes, man. You can see they're very old, man. They have been here. I've had these plyo boxes for over 20 years, man.
They're still working?
It's still working. Well, this one you can see, I had to put a new piece of wood because it got rotten, man. But
this one looks like in the greatest.
I call them the elephant boxes. Have you ever seen those elephants that go in the circus?
Let's see. do you balance the intensity of like a tennis practice with rest and recovery to make sure that the players stay healthy?
Okay, so one thing for sure is, let's say you play a match, and you play a match on Friday, you know, and you win, and then you play another match on Friday and you win again. You're in a tournament, and now they tell you that you need to play the next day.
And you might not be like well rested.
So you need a recovery, right? So for that, I would say, if you have a chance to do like a cold, let's say you go into ice water. You know, that's here in Austin we have the Barton Springs.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Barton Springs?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cold water, right? So you go into cold water, and whew, that's going to be very, very good for your body.
Also did a couple ice baths.
Yeah, exactly. So that's always very good for recovery. Now, some people say that if you do also warm water, so let's say you do warm water with Epsom salt, that's also very good for recovery. But hydrating yourself is also very important. You're not going to be fresh the next day if you don't hydrate properly.
Yeah. I feel like warm water, it like increases your blood flow.
Yes.
But then like cold water makes it like less. So I guess cold water could help with like swollen stuff.
Exactly. If you have swollen joints or swollen muscles from the exercise that you did, the cold water is gonna decrease the inflammation. Very good, man.
Well, that's all my questions. And I guess we covered it all. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Hello? Hey, Archer, how are you, man? What? You have a project about tennis? So tell me about your project, man. No kidding. What you're describing is something that I've always been wanting to do. I can't believe this. All right, so why don't you meet me at the tennis court? And then you ask me the questions, and I'll see if I can answer the questions that you asking me, and we'll take it from there, okay? Okay. All right, man. Bye for now.